Okay, so welcome to Long Island Nightlight Interviews, Lionel Radio Interviews. We got special guests tonight. We got Keaton and Anthony, both from the band Out of Pocket from Long Island. Um, so I'm struggling with my voice a little bit, so I'm just going to turn it over to these guys just to introduce themselves and say hello. So go ahead, guys.
Hey, I'm Keaton.
I'm Anthony.
We're out of
What
pocket.
yeah, if you guys don't mind, like, what are your roles in the band, and maybe you could flesh out the rest of the instrumentation and who else is in the band.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
So I guess Anthony and I kind of we're the leaders. We co-lead, and
I
we
play
both play guitar.
Yep.
Yeah, we both play guitar, and we
You guys
both
are
sing.
You guys a six-piece, or?
It depends. Sometimes we're a 6-piece. Sometimes we're a 7-piece. I'd like to be an 8-piece. You know.
Okay.
But yeah, Anthony takes lead on singing. He's basically, lead singing, I would say 95% of the time. Fronting, engaging the audience, and then I do the lead guitar and necessary rhythms, and I do a lot of conducting, dancing, that kind of stuff,
Cool.
What
you got?
We got Conrad as our drummer. We've known him for years.
We both have known Conrad for my whole life. I've known him. Yeah. Basically.
We got.
That's kind of like one of the cool things about the band is Anthony, Conrad, the drummer, and our main trumpet player, Mike. We've known each other our whole lives since like high school, junior high school.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then
right.
And why don't you give them the rest of the lineup?
Performance together, right?
Yeah. And then we have Mike, who plays trumpet. We have James that plays keys with us now. He joined up a couple months ago. And then we occasionally will have another person play some horns as well.
Cool.
And we got Justin on bass.
Awesome.
So it's there's a lot of us. So like when we come up to the stage, they're like, "How many microphones do you need?" And I'm like, "You're not gonna, you're not gonna want to
shout
hear
out
this."
to
Everyone
Bart. We have a second bass player who subs in for us, and I want to shout out to him. He's been killing it for us this summer. We appreciate the work he's been doing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like I said, I do my homework. I try to, know something about the bands and the artists that I interview. And I was looking at photos of you guys, and like, I can't tell if they're a 6-piece or 7-piece because, and it sounds like it does fluctuate a little bit, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Cool. So, I mean, Out of Pocket is Long Island, Long Island funk music, correct?
Yeah.
How, and I don't know, I am a fan of your music, as I was saying before. I approached you guys a while ago for one of your tunes because I had seen you guys perform before, but I don't know how else really to describe funk music. Are there more adjectives? Is there a better way to describe it, or to be more descriptive about it?
I think we can both take a whack at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you go?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's kind of like taking like funk music, but like adding elements that are all like important to us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have a lot of energy on stage, and I try to bring that into our songs as well, because like, I grew up playing like pop punk and like rock and all that stuff. And like, I always appreciated everything, but I think what's unique about us is like, we all kind of pull in like our own influences, even if it's like a totally different type of music. And we put all that together, and I think that kind of gives it like a little bit different of a flavor to it. But the horns are tremendous. Like, that's
horns are a big part of it. And I feel like personally, for me, when Anthony and I approached each other that we wanted to form a band years ago, and funk was the word, we settled on funk. And I've always been, I feel like I bring more like of a retro kind of like energy, right? Would you agree?
For sure.
Yeah. So, and I'm always trying to like push that kind of like classiness or retro into like the mix, and as Anthony said, the horns are basically, it's a huge part of that. And it's kind of tricky because if you don't do the horns like kind of just right, you kind of like, you don't want to sound like a ska band. Not that there's anything wrong with ska bands, right? But like, how do you, funk has that rhythmic feel to it. It's got that soul to it. It's got that kind of danceability where you can kind of like find your own beat if you can't find the one, you know. And the horns kind of have to fit in that pocket, like with Motown, you know.
Sure. Yeah, I was listening to the single "It's On." I mean, I've heard it plenty of times because I've been playing it on the radio, but I just brushed up on it, you know, before logging on with you guys, and I was impressed with the horn arrangements and everything like that. I in the past I was a sax player and stuff, and my brother,
Nice.
Was a sax player, so I know a little bit, about horn arrangements or whatever, and I was impressed with the punchiness and the timing of it and everything. It was really cool. So.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, we actually it's funny because we just re-recorded it like right before we released it. We were like, we got to hit this with the horns again. We just got to add some of that. And our horn player, he kills it. He's so accommodating and just talented.
Yeah. A lot of it is like playing shows and at practice, like, you work out different things and then you kind of feel it out with each other. So like we knew we needed to go back and do that to capture some of the stuff that wasn't originally there, but like, came to be a part of the song as we played it live.
Yeah.
We've been playing it live for a while and it's come a long way. Like if we listen to the first version of it compared to like what we finished on, it's like so much different. But that's just how it goes,
You guys are, sort of answering my next question, because I was going to just say, tell me about the development of the new single. First of all, how do you go, and if you don't mind talking about it, how do you go about writing the tune?
Oh, you want to know what's in the sauce? You're asking us about our secret sauce.
I'm asking you about the secret sauce.
Right. We'll give you a little taste of the sauce.
We'll give you a couple ingredients, but I don't know.
Yeah.
No, of course. I understand.
So, it's funny, because we're aiming on releasing 2 more singles before the year's over, minimum. And we're really hoping to kind of like embody the kind of like themes that we're talking about here. And I guess the songwriting usually, like with anything, it starts with an idea, either, Anthony will have the idea or I'll have the idea, right? And then it usually is like a skeleton, you know what I mean? And we're both really big on not forcing it out. You know what I mean? We want the song to come out organically. You've heard those bands where they come out with an album and it's good, but it's like, it feels like they kind of like got through it, I don't want any songs like that. Neither does Anthony. We want them all to feel like organic. So, sometimes we'll sit on a song for a long time, but generally it will be, one of us will begin an idea, we'll get together and we will finish the idea, and the fact that we just do that and we start with the 2 of us every time, it kind of like maintains the sound, right? It maintains the energy, the sound of the band, in our opinion anyway. Then we will go to practice with it and we will start implementing it with the guys. Anthony does a great job at recording at his home studio, and we'll get like a little demo going, right? And then we'll dish out the demo to all the other guys and they'll figure out their pieces, and then we'll dial it in at rehearsal. And then, like Anthony was saying, once like, a couple months goes by, or sometimes sooner, a few months go by, you start to hear parts that you didn't hear before, right? So like Anthony's a fantastic all-around musician, instrumentalist, right? And him and I will oftentimes, like, I'll lay out the bass line first, right? But that's where a lot of it starts, the bass, and he lays out the drums, and then we'll both sprinkle in some guitar, sprinkle in some vocals, and then we'll be like, all right, let's bring this to practice. We get to practice, and then we play it for a couple months. We might test it out at a show, but then that's when we figure out, like, the horns are going to come in when they feel those punches and when they feel those cues, those natural, organic cues.
Cool.
Yeah.
As far as It's On goes, though, because I think that's what you were asking, it like that is, that's obviously all true. But I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, Keith, but I felt like It's On, the structure of it and the part, like, whatever sections they were, came like pretty quick. Like you had
that one,
the main riff,
and
then we just rolled with it. And honestly, like, so Conrad is our drummer, but on a lot of these demos, when I lived in my last apartment, I had enough room to have, like, a drum set, so I could play a little bit. So I played them, and that's what's on the recording. So that like came pretty organically. Like we didn't really have to like, all right, we'll come back to it like next time. That one, like
yeah, that one, yeah. We have a couple more like that too. We have a couple more. We have a few more like that. I would say it's about half and half. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That one came real fast. It just sort of like came out, and
Yeah.
all the parts. We both just kind of looked at each other and just knew what the next part had to be. Knew what the next part had to be. He was like, "You know what the guitar needs?" And I was like, "This." And he's like, "Yup." I'd be like, "You know what the vocals need?" He'd be like, "Watch it."
Yeah.
Punch it in. It was just one of those. It was a good night. It was a real good night.
Yeah, that was a smooth one. And then like lyrically, I mean, the way that I was, looking at it was I actually pretended I was Conrad, our drummer. I was thinking this is what so the phrase "it's on." Have you ever seen the movie Swingers? It is like an old Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
They say like, "Oh, it's on." You know what I mean? Yep. And like that, it's like a thing that like my brothers and I say to each other, like, "Oh, yeah, it's on," like whatever. So I like kind of took that and put it into it, and then I like pretended I was Conrad and I was like going out, like hanging out with my friends or whatever, and then like that kind of like it's a feel good song, like you can't help but smile. I mean, I think when you hear it, like you need a good mood still. And how many times have we heard it and played it? Like 1,000 probably.
Yeah.
I'm glad, because my next question was going to be about lyrics, and you addressed that.
So a lot of the time, it's like I'll like start with one thing, or he'll start with one thing, and we just like kind of fill it in. Like, okay, I had an idea for this, or he'll be like, "Oh, I know exactly what needs to go here." So that's how we kind of hash it out. So sometimes it comes right out, and like you just write it and it just goes. And then sometimes it takes a while.
Yeah, I will say this. I really feel like Anthony and I kind of cover each other's weaknesses a little bit. Anthony, man, you are so good at verse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm a good and pre-chorus.
Yeah, Anthony's great at verse, but I'm really good at hooks and bridges for whatever reason that is. So yeah, we kind of, and I noticed that about him. So we both grew up playing music in high school band together, and but never like in a garage band or rock band or solo a project, But we had so many other. I was in so many bands alongside him in so many other bands. So I've been seeing him play for many years, and I always took note, like, man, this good verses, always good verses. Dirty Red Dress had good verses,
Yeah, that's awesome how that fits together.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are fans of Sam Cooke at all, but he used to, he wrote the song "You Send Me," and he used to say that he was always looking for that phrase that comes from your natural language that you're speaking with your friends and stuff, and that when you talked about "it's on," that kind of reminded me of that. Like it just comes from what your daily vernacular or your daily.
It's funny you say that. We have another song. I guess we consider it a single. It's called "Come Around," and it's kind of the same deal. Like it's like at the time we wrote that a long time ago. Talking about oh man, I don't know what it's going to take to get this girl to come around. You know what I mean? And then the next thing we knew, we just kind of plopped out a song out of that.
Yeah, we've all been there. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Very cool. Yeah, no, thank you for going into the into detail about how you guys create and how you brought about this single. I find it really interesting as being a songwriter myself, and I'm sure anybody who's views this or listens is going to be interested. So.
And also, with going without saying, it takes more than just us to make all that happen. It takes the whole lineup. The guys a lot. If it's not live, it's not right. You know what I mean? And they all really bring it to the table. They all really come with their A game. And then we also had the help of a really talented young man who did the mastering for us. So
cool.
Shout out to him too.
Awesome. Speaking of playing live, you guys played at 89 North recently.
Yeah.
Is there anything can you just tell me how that show went and what that was like?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Man, I love that place. I love the stage. I love the sound, and like it always just sounds perfect in that.
Yeah, I agree.
People
the sound there was on point that night. Really good mix. My wife got some really good footage of us, and we had a blast on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of had a little bit of bad luck. Sublime with Rome was playing the main stage at Live at 5 at the same time we were. So, but that was cool in itself. And again, that stage was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and being that there's so many of us, we're like we played like plenty of places where we're like I can barely move, and then we, like when we're feeling that energy, we like to hop around a little bit, and it was, I loved it, like because I could really like move and like actually dance, so it feels good when I could do that.
And then you played a show for a really important cause at Comiskey, right, in St. James?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It got rained out outside. Well, that is funny because at 89 North, I love how big the stage is, and I love at Comiskey Park, that festival, how they had the huge stage, but it poured, so we had to play inside, and it was still awesome. But had to play inside.
You went from having all the room you needed.
It was part of why I was like really excited about that, because the year before we had like one of those big showmobiles, and I was like looking around, like my cable wasn't long enough. I was like, I need a guitar.
Just text each other, see how you doing, right?
Right. Like wave the other side.
Yeah, but Swan's a really good guy, and Chad from Ride Waves, he put on the stage for us that day, and they managed to get everything inside in the middle of that really terrible like hurricane, and keep it going.
Now that was a cause to raise awareness, and money for breast cancer, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't know how much they raised this year.
Yeah,
but it's definitely on their Facebook page. Last year they raised a really good amount.
Whatever was, you guys are doing a great thing by providing the entertainment, and helping to raise that money. So, it's something I definitely want to mention, because
sure. Appreciate it.
Great cause, and you guys are, contributing to that. So that's awesome. So I'd like to just talk a little bit about, I know you guys go way back together, but, individually, maybe you take turns just telling me how you got into music originally, and maybe what you mentioned you have influences, but maybe if you don't mind being specific about what, who has influenced you musically, whether it's someone you know or whether it's a popular artist or something like that. So
you want to go first? I already know you got your answer, Yeah.
So, my family, I come from a family of musicians. I won't go into that too much, right? But my father's a musician, a jazz trumpet player. He plays piano. My grandfather was a drummer. My uncle's a drummer. Like it goes, right?
Right.
And, I've been listening to stuff like, my favorite band's the Doobie Brothers, period. Michael McDonald, the Doobie Brothers. I'm really influenced by them, by Prince, by, Hall & Oates, all that kind of stuff. And, it's funny though, because I played in like heavy metal bands with like an 8-string guitar for like 10 years, right? I was in this heavy metal band, and I was playing this like gent style, and I loved it. I was writing music with those guys. It was great. But the whole time I was kind of like talking to Anthony on the side, like I really want to kind of do something more soulful, you know what I mean? And I guess those are where my influences come from.
I'm sorry, was your first instrument the guitar?
No, my first instrument was actually the trumpet and harmonica, and I did a little bit of piano when I was a kid too. My dad taught me all that. And Anthony, why don't you tell me what your first instrument was? The first instruments we played together? Come on.
The recorder?
No. So I'm originally from Chicago. When I moved to New York, I wanted to be in band because a bunch of my friends were in band. So I went, and they tested me for what instrument. And they were like, all right, you're going to be trumpet. So I went home. I brought the rental form. My mom was like, pick something free. So I went, and I was like, my mom said like, whatever. And he was like, oh, we need a tuba player. And I was like, I don't even know what that is. And then he pointed to it, and it was probably almost as big as I was. I was in 5th grade. And then I played the trumpet. I got a trumpet tuba. I got a tuba scholarship.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my first like instrument. Yeah, and then while I was doing that, I'm sorry, did you want to finish your answer, Keaton?
No.
Okay.
Keep going. It's organic.
I'm glad you brought that up because it kind of ties a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
So I played the tuba, and while we were in band, do you remember that movie, That Thing You Do?
Oh yeah,
Tom Hanks. The
Sure.
song was great. We played it in bands. Like I was playing the tuba, and we played it in our band, and we had somebody on the drum set. And growing up, my parents would have me listen into they put pop headphones on me, and it's like Black Sabbath and like Michael Jackson, Genesis, Billy Joel in Chicago. I didn't even know how big of a deal he was until I moved here. But I listened to him growing up, like Elvis Costello, like stuff like that. But anyway, the movie That Thing You Do, like I heard the drums and it like made me really want to play the drums. Finally convinced my mom to get us a drum set, and I would like make videos of me playing. I have them somewhere. They're terrible, but I would like play it. I would like record the drums with like a Radio Shack little tape recorder, and then I would like put a microphone in front of the guitar and I would like layer it. But what made me want to play guitar was Rage Against the Machine. Actually, I heard Tom Morello play, and that got me into guitar. And then like once I got into guitar, it was like everything. Like I liked a little bit of everything. And then over the years, like my taste has changed. I've like picked up different things, but I don't know. I think I'm pretty cool with like most types of music. I can find something that I like, and I think you become like a better like musician and artist if you pick little things up, like pro sports, like basketball players, like be a little bit like Kobe and Mike and whoever, and you put it all together, it makes something new. That's how I kind of feel about music too. Like
and you're a bit of a jukebox too, like I always tell like Anthony's a bit of he knows songs. I'm kind of terrible like that. I learn a lot of songs on bass and guitar, but I retain the techniques, you know what I mean? And I can punch in if I start hearing the other people play it if I played it before, but I'm no jukebox like that.
No, it's really been awesome, especially, and I love playing in like Keaton was saying before, he played in that metal band. Like I would go watch them, but like I love that the fact that like I've played with like so many great musicians, and I picked little things up from everybody, and like I feel like that's a part of me, at this stage.
And it's a part of the project too. It's definitely a part of Out of Pocket. Like even the single it's on, you hear we put like a really like shredding solo in there. I really want to, we don't want anybody's skills or experience to go unused. And everybody who's involved in the project brings so much to it.
I would guess both of you guys, your experience with a variety of instruments probably helps when you're writing songs too, because you probably can visualize more than just your own part.
Usually when like something good happens, I'm calling him up. I'm like, yo, what are you doing tonight? And he's like, tonight? And I'm like, yeah, I got an idea. I don't want to lose it. And then we'll like lay out like 80% of the song.
Like this is how it goes though, because I was gonna say exactly that. He comes over, he gets the guitar, he plays like one section, and then he takes the bass, and then he plays the bass, then he takes the guitar, then he plays that, and he takes the piano and plays something, then he'll take the bass. And I just laugh because it's just like this, then this, and this. And he's like, I gotta get it out. He's like, I don't even want to hear it, just let me play it. So
that's cool.
Yeah,
I love to hear about the creative process and everything like that, and how folks go about bringing songs into being. When I said visualize, that's probably the wrong word, but I think you guys.
No, it's a perfect word, and I think it's worth mentioning too. Anthony, by trade, is a educator. He's a teacher.
That is true.
And
educator, yes.
Yeah, and you guys, he's able to get it out of me. You know what I mean? Like if I come over in that kind of mood, he's able to like get it. He knows exactly how to facilitate my creative needs. And he does that for a lot of people.
A good teacher is a facilitator. What do you teach music, Anthony? Or?
No, I actually don't.
Not officially.
No, but I do play guitar in school. I teach science, actually. I have elementary school science, but I play guitar in all the musical performances. Like the music teacher, she got me in overtime. Yeah.
No, we have a lot of common. I'm an English teacher, but I bring a lot of music into my teaching.
Always.
Too.
Yep.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I got a little guitar in there. I'll play it if like the teacher's late picking them up. Like I'll get the guitar and be like, you guys know this? They never know the song. They know like Super Mario Brothers song, like that's it, and like 70
You gotta learn Baby Shark, man.
Oh, you think I don't know Baby Shark? Come on.
But you know, it's a philosophy of music soothes the savage beast, and that's never more true in a middle school or an elementary school. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them know good stuff. Like they'll like one kid one time was like, "Do you know who Sum 41 are?" And I was like, "Do you even know who that is?"
That's a good kid.
Yeah, I was like, "That's cool though that they know that."
Awesome. Yeah. So I guess, you know, just one more thing I want to ask you guys, and then of course I'll give you the opportunity to, you know, if there's any other information you want to disseminate. Just you alluded to that you have 2 singles coming, and my last question is just what's next for Out of Pocket. So,
well, we're gonna release those 2 singles. What's next is it's whatever happens. You know, it's a tough game out there, but we're in it because we love it and we love playing. We love writing music together. So that's really never gonna change, right? So
cool.
We're gonna keep on, you know, pumping out our tunes and to the best of our ability. And if something catches fire, it catches. You know, it's up to us to get it out there. That's really it, right?
Yeah, we have like a bunch of, I mean, we're talking about like 10, 11 things that are, you know, either ones that we already play live or ones that, you know, we hope to play live soon. But I mean, we're hoping to get a lot of those out there and then like, you know, down the road, try to record something like as a whole band, like when those songs are really developed. But, you know, we're going to keep writing and, you know, keep playing shows. We love playing live. You know, there's definitely an energy when we play live, like for sure.
It sounds like you do the recording on, you know, yourself, and then you get it mastered by somebody. So
yeah, I'll do the recording and the mixing here, and I'll get it as good as I can because, you know, I don't know if I would say I'm inexperienced now because I've been doing it for probably the past, like the whole time we've been in this band,
6, 7 years at least.
7 years. So like I know enough, but you know, there's still more to learn. But yeah, the mastering definitely helps. But I
think too. Sometimes you get tunnel hearing. But both of us, we both will be listening to the same thing over and over again for so long. It's like, all right,
you need fresh ears for sure.
Yeah. For sure. Well, I mean, it's on. The production is fantastic. If you know, in my opinion, it counts for anything. So, I mean, I think it's awesome. So, whatever you know, however you're going about it, the process you're using, to me, it sounds like it's working fine. So, well, and you know, as far as your 2 upcoming singles, I mean, I'm sure there'll be a lot of folks looking. If I could tell you one radio station that would be very glad to play those songs.
We'll make sure you get them. We'd love for you to have them. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, you're one of the groups that I approached for your music because I was like, I want to have diversity. You know, I don't want it to just be all rock or metal. Nothing wrong with, you know, those genres, but you know, I enjoy what you guys do, and you know, and I appreciate you contributing to you know, your music and, you know, this appearance to the station here.
Yeah, man. I mean, look at, like, you know, MTV in its golden era. It wasn't just, you know, rock. It was funk, disco. Look at like the Midnight Special, one of my favorite TV shows from the past, you know, right? Like they had everybody on there from country to, you know, the English wave, crazy. So we love what you're doing. We do.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, happy to.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, no, and you know, that's really kind and everything, but I wouldn't be doing the damn thing without the folks that I contributed. So,
and the truth, right?
And you know, whenever you're ready with those tunes, you know, I'll be waiting and I'll be looking to present them, you know, in the most fitting manner possible. You know.
Yeah, and if you guys want to get a sneak peek of them, we will be playing them on the last weekend of this month, the 23rd at Industry and the 24th at Mr. Beery's. Industry in Huntington, Mr. Beery's in Bethpage.
Okay, all right. I've never played Industry before, but I played the Beer.
Come check us out, man. We'll show you a good time. That's a great spot.
Yeah, it's great.
I'd love to come down.
That's been some of our best. I mean, some of my favorite shows.
Yeah, we love Zach. We love the whole crew over there. They're always really good to us, and the crowd's always really good to us.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that you had a chance to mention your shows too. And keep in mind too, if you have a flyer or an email list or anything, and you just want to write down the details of your shows, I'd be happy to promote them on the station leading up to your show.
For sure.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, we'll be in touch.
Cool. All righty, guys. So as I said before, if you just hang out for a couple minutes after I sign off, but for those of you who are watching, we appreciate you here, and definitely like and comment and subscribe and all that kind of thing. And, let us know what you think of this interview. For those of you that'll be listening to this on Lionel Radio, we're going to follow up this interview with Out of Pocket's most recent single, It's On, right now. Okay, so like I said, guys, if you hang out a moment. And